Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirishuk here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had Deku. Deku, he was in quite the situation. A vampire came tapping onto his window in the middle of the night, and he discovered another vampire trying to talk with him to make a deal. However, what surprised him was the fact that this one was connected to the last one. She was still alive somehow. It was over 2 years ago that he gave a vampire blood. And somehow, after not feeding for however many months after his incident, she was alive. The vampire in front of him talked about a new arrangement. And Izuku, he was willing to make a bargain. Though, whenever they finally went to the place where this vampire was hibernating, Deku, he felt a chuckle creeping into his own throat, since the vampire decided to hide in the spider lair he met it at oh so long ago, not too far away from Granala. When he saw her, he saw that even in the effect of hibernation, she was skin and bone. Now, Deku allowed her to feed on his blood, straight from his veins, and he turned to talk to the other vampire to gain information. Other than what he already knew about the second, the Paladin, he learned that the Demon Lord, he's more than just weakened from his battle with Ritus. He went from being a godlike entity to fight the divine to being weak. But that doesn't mean he's not powerful. He is bathing in rejuvenation waters to try and counteract the effects the divinity is having on his weakened body. And that was quite surprising. Deku, he was also interested to learn that the Demon Lord's lair might possibly be in one of the 9 hells. It's not much information, but it's as much as this vampire does know. He was also happy to learn when exactly the attack on Garnala would be, but learning this attack was going to happen confused him. Druso Uzin is playing a game. Whatever his endgame might be is still an unknown. He's warning Izuku, but he's not coordinating the attack. He's the second, but apparently he killed the king. I mean, he didn't cause destruction to his former kingdom, the one he loved. I mean, he's supposed to be the second in command of the Demon Lord's forces. He was ruthless, a monster the last time I met him. But then there was that first encounter they ever had. The man did save his life. So, what the fuck is his endgame? This thought confused him. The man is all over the place. And after this was said and done, Deku, he talked to Theodore, Pierce, and even called in Bakugo to talk about a few things. Right now he plans to go head out to hunt the white dragons. Meanwhile, Bakugo can hunt the Blob of Annihilation in the Beastlands, taking Theodore, Pierce, and even Indra with him. Now, Bakugo obviously was kind of annoyed at having a bit of a party with him. But if this creature did get stronger as an animal lord did tell them upon their arrival, he might need all the help he can with this creature. Now, Deku decided to teleport away to try and figure out what to do. And right now, he does arrive back in the throne room of a kingdom before he's to talk about it. Now, what exactly is going on here? Right now, Ahimya going to stand up and fall to a knee. They've been expressing. They weren't expecting him to be back so soon. They have yet to complete the enchantments on his armor. Is there something he may need? A request? It will take time. Not necessarily. Though I'm quite curious. Is the armor done? No, no, we are working on one piece of gear at a time. Your Nodachi. It is from York, correct? It is? Yes, yes, I believed it was. I've heard stories of the Winter Blade. It is quite a powerful tool. The fact that it fell into your hands must mean quite much. The Winter Shogun. I see you've heard of my reputation. Yes. Right now, someone going to step out, and he does get a turn and see an Oni, who does go to rush forwards and fall to a knee in front of Izuku. Him turning to the man and going to stare at the man. He's large, bulky, and from what he can tell with the giant beaded necklace around his neck, he's important. A chieftain? No, no. He'd be their leader. The orcs have kings, and if the Oni are more tribal, then no, not a chieftain, then the man raising up to his full height and expressing, "It is nice to meet him. He is Koyami." Nice to meet you. I remember you from yesterday. Yes, I am the High Chieftain of the Oni. I've witnessed your battle. You're quite powerful. I'm well aware. Would you be willing to challenge me this morning? No. People in the room quite surprised. Deku turning and seeing many of the other Onis behind him do to look a bit more bewildered. Do you not believe that you can win? No, I'm busy. Fact of the matter is, I have my own matters to attend to right now. Challenging you might be entertaining, but I did plan to go hunting dragons this morning. And if you've seen my display yesterday, you know I can beat you. Quite high words. Not high words, simple facts. I decapitated the enemy yesterday with a punch. An enemy your kingdoms has been dealing with for centuries, if I might add. It is no disrespect to you. Perhaps we may challenge each other one other time. But for right now, I'm trying to prepare for an attack on my nation, the one I consider my home. I see. The man bowing his head, expressing, defending one's home is a great honor. He does not mean disrespect. Deku bowing his own head to the man and informing him. He understands. Another time. But again, turning back the situation on his armor, he is running low on time and he is expected to take out a few dragons today in order to gain more strength. How many have you slain already? 6. One of ancient status and one from another plane of reality. Though, that one I'm still gaining more information about. I see. The man going to stare at Deku a bit more intrigued about his strength. Before expressing, their two nations are cooperating on enchanting his armor. The beast he slayed will net them quite the amount of gold, and the king has extended an offer to their nation of the money in exchange for helping to enchant his gear. They need many enchantments on his gear in order to make it quite powerful for him. I'd rather just have my gear simply enchanted. No, that is not correct. After what you've done, we need a befitting reward for you. Your gear is going to be powerful, and we do plan to have a few enchantments on everything. A few? Yes, about 30 in total. Oh, that's not so bad. The man expressing, "It will take weeks, but each piece will be enchanted 30 times." Deku turning back to the man before looking back at the king. "Okay, that is way too many. Listen, I don't even know how many magical effects that could be. Well, that could be good in combat, powerful even. I'm going to have to say no. Keep my enchantments simple and powerful. That's all I would ask." "Yes. Well, we do plan to enchant your blades with a spiritual binding." Deku turning his head, intrigued. "A spiritual binding?" "Yes, along with magical resistance. I have seen your blade in action before. My father has mentioned its power once. He saw it on a battlefield against my nation. And it is impressive. It was once wielded by a man he respected, though they be enemies." "I see. Interesting information to know." "Yes. If I can, I will make sure that blade is returned to you in top condition, as a sign of respect for what my father once held dear to him." Him bowing his head again and expressing to the hero, "He may return tomorrow. They may sort things out. Though if he would like to hear some of the enchantments, then they may talk." Deku was still curious. He wanted it to be what? 4 enchantments in total, maybe? Each piece of his gear being enchanted? He doesn't know the whole process, but weeks for the armor to get done? That's not gonna work. All his gear needs to be done before the attack on Granola. And whenever he does go to walk away with the Oni, they do have a brief chat. Him meeting some of the court mages who do see the hero. And he does go to see what exactly they're doing. They have multiple scrolls put up to the wall, and he does see his armor gleaming with some enchantments already. He does even go to look out towards his swords. And when he does go to see them, he does go to see a faint glow from the hilt. Along with watching as the blade, it does gleam with magical power. Him highly interested in that. And he does even go to look over at his Tanto, quite curious about what that blade might have. Though he does see a faint shimmering ball on the top of the hilt. Quite curious. Wondering what that enchantment could be. And after about a few minutes of talking about it and Deku picking enchantments, they do go to disregard many of the other ones. Izuku, he was still quite interested in a lot they had to talk about. Even the idea of his abilities being amplified by his own weapons and armor. I mean, there is an enchantment called Burst. If it's put on both of his swords, it could be more effective than a whirlwind slash. When paired together, it's more powerful with the same enchantment. The ability stacks. And that thought does go through his mind. Right now, him trying to think about what type of style he can make with that. If he was able to use all 3 of his blades at once, exactly what could he do with that? This thought going through his mind, as right now he does go to teleport away. Him landing on a mountaintop as he does walk through the trees and gonna stand in the area, overlooking a city that has thick built walls. Them massive and towering above the snow coverage. And he does see that people, they are trying to live their daily lives. And he does get a turn, letting out a breath and feeling exactly how cold it is up in the mountains. It's a beautiful place. Different trees, a lot of snow coverage, and right now as I look up at the storm above. It certainly means something. His most powerful element is ice magic, the first one he ever mastered. And right now, he's about to go up against a dragon that embodies the entirety of that element. He wonders what type of knowledge he'll gain from this, how many there truly are. Though, if this clan of dragons is a danger, he needs to know first. He won't simply attack random creatures out there. All of his power needs to be used for good. And he does gonna make his way into the city. Some people staring at the man who is covered in a red cloak, his eyes glowing, as some people, they do wish to stop him to learn more about what he's doing. Though upon seeing the man that does go to turn his head, they stare at him. And the Dragon Slayer markings on his chest, they do immediately make that person go to open their eyes wide and grin. The guard captain next to them turning and waving the man through ahead of a caravan of merchants. And Izuku, he does get a step into the city, trying to think about where exactly to head to first. And he does get to look up. Right now, him going to plane shift away and up into the air. Him hovering above the castle as he does get to fall and land into the courtyard. People turning their heads and beginning to make their way over to him. And whenever he does a stand, he does go to shift the cloak into clothes. Them begin to cover his body as the fur does begin to glow. Right now, him shifting its color to a white. And he does go stand there. Guards stepping forwards and informing him to tell them who he is and what purpose he does currently have on the royal grounds. Quite simple. I'm here to speak to your king. Deku pulling out the piece of paper, showing it to the man and telling him. He was informed they had an issue with clans of dragons, and he'd like to talk to the man about this. The people staring at him, turning their heads as one, does a step forwards, holding up a sword. Him going to watch as Deku doesn't make any sudden moves, pulling the paper from the man's hand and going to stare down at it. It's incredible. That is the king's signature. His seal is next to it as well, and, well, you've certainly come at a good time. Listen, the dragons will return. We believe them to be coming today. How so? They've been attacking. Every couple of days, 3 or 4. Yesterday was the 3rd day, today was the 4th day. And I believe that you must speak with the king now. The man turning and holding up the paper, informing them. They are currently in the presence of the hero of Granala. Lower their weapons. And do not commit hostilities towards this man. He is here to aid them. And people do begin to roar out and cheer. Deku seeing that they are trying to keep warm and in high spirits, though this news might have warmed them better than any fire or ale they might have had in a minute. And over Deku does go stepping into a room, he does look up to the king, a man who does sit there. Human. He does have braided long hair. His face is patchy and white, showing age is beginning to take him. And he does go to express. It is quite good to have him here. They were uncertain if he would come. I have a lot of things to handle at the moment. My quest is going to be taking me some odd places, but for now, I believe I can help you. I see. We thank you for your aid. That's all right. Do you have any information that may help me on my hunt? The man gonna go to open his mouth. However, there is where a strange chill does gonna flood the room. Even Deku taking notice of it as the man, his face is at a freeze. And many people there in the room, they do gonna sit there frozen. As someone, they do gonna stand off of the stairs leading up to the man's throne. The prince staring at the back of the woman who just appeared. And even the queen, her eyes are frozen in a bit of terror, feeling this overwhelming presence in front of her. And the king's hands, they do go to shoot up to his face and making a symbol in the air. As Deku does casually turn his head and express, Alina, what are you doing here? You've been making us wait on your deliberation. Deliberation? Yes. Nuva has mentioned that she was going to talk to you about something when you reach level 300. You are quite busy, or have you forgotten? We've played this game so many times. I see. I've been a little busy, but you're here. I didn't, I'm sorry to say this, but call for your counsel. I believe that you are correct. It's been some time, but we've always played that game of back and forth, have we not? You get into trouble, you get into danger, you nearly die, and then you make your way out of it. Her, not looking at Deku, but looking up, as if she's mentally listing a few close calls in her own mind. And he does go to express. He's sorry to disappoint her, but he doesn't exactly plan to die soon. Yes, you don't. Which is why I suggest you check your information, hero. You are going to be claiming many lives this day, along with the creatures that are making their way here. Her turning, staring at the king, who does immediately straighten his back. And Izuku, for a second he swore he heard a pop, as she doesn't inform the man. Many lives may be taken this day, but with him here, that will not happen. Her turning back, stepping forwards and bringing her hand up, stopping directly in front of Izuku's face, and informing him. He needs to pick an ability soon. Otherwise, things are going to get more complicated upstairs. Her vanishing. And Deku, he does look down, opening his system and reopening the rewards tab. Him getting the notification. Congratulations on achieving rank 300. You have managed to do something not many have been able to achieve. Now, per the instructions, pick a following blessing. Important information provided. This is a blessing picked from a deity above, offering an extension of lower level divinity. Deku's eyes going wide. Wait. No, that. But she mentioned. Nuva mentioned. Deku's staring at the offers. The God of War is extending an offer? I mean, she's extending power to him. Nuva is extending one to him. Alina is extending one to him. Aurora. I mean, this is incredible. Even Adum, the god of the elves? That's insane. This is surprising him. And right now someone does bring a hand onto his shoulder. him closing the tab and turning back to them, as if to ask him, "What was that? Who was that?" "Uh, Knight. Yes, Your Majesty. I believe that was Alino, the goddess of death." The man looking back at Deku alarmed, since he just so casually spoke to death. And in his mind, that is horrifying. He greeted her like an old friend. No, a companion. This man is far more dangerous than he thought. And right now, a loud roar does get to break the tension. Deku turning his head and making his way over to the window, looking out and seeing a massive burst of ice go to shoot down over the town, along with the adult red dragon that does go to fly over. And right now, he does get to turn to the king, asking how many of them are out there. Um, yes, there are. The prince shooting to his feet and informing the hero. There are currently 9 of those dragons out there. 2 of them they believe to be leaders of their clan. Others adult and 1 possibly young. There are unknown as to how many are out there. The man going to bring his hand up, still trying to regain his voice. Shooting it up to his third Deku does disappear. And right now the dragon does fly overhead. As Izuku, he does go to reappear and open his inventory, taking a weapon as a large warhammer does manifest in his hand. And he does come shooting down with its weight that he can finally carry as if it was a light toy. And he does go to roar at the dragon, does aim up. Right now it stopping its blast of ice. As whenever Deku does a smash down with the weapon, he does hear a massive crack as the dragon. It does go to change its course from going straight to immediately crashing into the ground. And Deku, he is awarded with a dragon shard. Right now him crashing onto the creature's back and going to stand, raising up the warhammer over his shoulder as blood does begin to drip from it. And people, they do get a turn. They could hear the collision of those 2 forces. And Deku does look down at the dragon, seeing that right now it is dead. And he is informed. He has currently reached rank 2, 3, 16. Deku staring at that, as he does get a turn, looking around. People staring at the man in the red furs as if he's insane. And he does get somewhat count. So, let's see. That means 8 left. 8 times 4, 32. Not bad. Not bad at all. Him hearing another massive sound as the creature does come flying down, and it does go to stare at the man currently sitting on its brethren's back, informing him he has committed a grave mistake. Deku turning to look at it before he does go to raise the hammer, expressing he's pretty sure he hasn't, though he is curious. Why exactly are they attacking this town? Because there is food. There is plenty to feast on here. Well then, I guess that means I'm still in the right. Him turning, chucking the hammer at the dragon as it does attempt to try to evade. Deku throwing out one of the strands from his cloak. The red strings flying out as it'll wrap around the grip of the massive hammer and start to swing over Deku as a pull. Him infusing his essence directly into the cloth. And as a swinging around as the dragon does try to fly up and evade. Deku, this time, going to pull the hammer back in as it crash into the ground with a massive thud. This time, him manifesting a massive polearm with a blade on the end of it as he does go to stand. The dragon going to look up at him as is to fly down and blast out with his own power. Deku raising the Bicento and going to blast out with fire magic. And he does use his internal flames, his infernal flames. Right now, him going to watch the dragon. It does have its ability brushed out by him. It turning in a mist before it's a crash into the dragon's mouth. It going to flap up into the air and roar out his Deku. He does a leap up into the air. Him spinning and crashing down its back and stabbing the Bicento directly into it. Before he does, gonna bring his foot up and crash it down to the back of the dragon's neck. The dragon going to break something in its back for crashing into the ground. And he does a pull the weapon up and go to walk over to its head, stabbing down quickly and pulling it free. Level up. You have reached level 320. Deku, feeling the dragon essence begin to pour into him. And he doesn't open his eyes as his turn. Going to think for a second. Draconic Empowerment has reached level 8. Deku raising his hand. Okay, that's good. Though, now he is quite curious. Bring the weapon up and over his back, walking over and grabbing the massive hammer that someone was trying to pick up. Though the massive man, he does get to watch his Deku just grab it with one arm, pulling it up, and holding it firmly. Him throwing it over his shoulder and trying to think. Draconic Advisor? Yes. Where is the dragon's lair? Searching memories. Searching information. Northeast of here. There is a dragon's lair. However, a third dragon may be coming to feast. One may also be in hibernation, but I do not believe it to be an ancient. I see. Yes. This clan of dragons is quite the interesting bunch. Unusual of their species to be this closely bunched together, but they are. I see. Someone watching him laugh and talk to himself. And he does get a turn. A man flinching away as he takes 2 steps away from the dragon, holding his hand up and informing him, "Leave those there. They'll be back for the rest of them soon." Him jumping up into the air as his wings do begin to manifest. And he does to open his rewards and stare at the dragon shards he does have. Still thinking about what he can buy. I mean, they're masters of ice magic. Try and beat fire with fire? No, this is a quest. This is serious. Right now, him going to fly through the air before he has to hear a massive roar and turn, watching as the white dragon with red eyes is flying towards him. It descending from the clouds as Deku, he does got to reach for his back and grab the polearm. Him going to sweep it around and crash the side of the weapon as a staff into the dragon. It going to alter its path and fly towards the ground. As another dragon does come flying towards him, it roaring out about its brothers. And Deku, he does go to turn. This time, him kicking out and hitting the dragon directly in the side. It going to move down and away. And Deku, he does sit there in the air, turning and holding up the Bicento. Him staring at the two and thinking about what to do. Before he does going to do one simple thing. He upgrades his force magic to level 25, watching as the conditions for it do move up to 40 points. And this time, he does feel the power increase in the magic. Him watching as he does bring his hand up, new magic circles do begin to appear in the spells. And he does go to hold onto the weapon as one of the dragons does go to rush him. Him bringing up the staff and going to blast out with the Bicento as the dragon is cleaved into two. Right now it going to be split down the middle from one of the shoulders down to its tail. It going to burst out into a red mist as the two halves go crashing towards the ground. The other dragon, roaring out in pain as Deku, he's too amazed by that simple feat. Turning to the other one as it does going to fly away towards the lair. 3 down. In this, it does make a grin move across his face. Him flying after the other dragon as he does chase it down and crash on its back. This time, him going to bring his foot up and express. He wants to know where exactly the others are. You will burn. You don't breathe fire. Him bending down and grabbing it into a chokehold. As the dragon, it does go to dive down, crashing into the snowbank and hitting into the rocks. As Deku, he does still got to hold onto it. And the dragon, it does raise its large head, crashing further and further down, crashing over and over again, hoping that this beast in human form will kill over. It has draconic eyes. It has horns. And he saw how large they grew after killing his brother. Whatever this thing is, it simply must be monster. That being the last thought that was going to pass through its mind, as its vision does fade to black. And Deku does break the dragon's neck and go to crawl out from underneath it. Him going to stand up and feel draconic empowerment further come up. And he just feels better. Opening the tab and seeing that his rewards have gone up. It asks him if he would like to spend 4 dragon shards. And he does go to disregard that and hold his hand up, activating draconic empowerment at level 10. And this, it does feel better. Though he does watch as a pattern of scales does but begin to form onto his wrist, moving down his arm as the empowerment does further to strengthen. And he does even go to turn on his scale mail, watching as the earthy, dark orange scales, they've lightened up quite a bit. And he does this somewhat stare at that. They're not turning back into a dark red. That is interesting. Right now, him going back up into the air. Right now, he's got 5 dragons left. At this rate, he'll be done before lunch. Him flying northeast and still wondering about exactly where the others might be, how things are going on for them. And right now, Deku, he does head over to the dragon's lair. Right now, him going to step into a massive cavern on a mountaintop. And he does look around. The area has been cleared of ice. I mean, he knew dragons could access other elements, but it looks like they're using their cryomancy to keep this area clean. A bit of a surprise, but interesting. They're all attacking. The dragons aren't trying to talk, though that should be expected. Him walking down the corridor and seeing that the floor is made of ice. There's no stone in this cave. Turning and looking around. Not an inch of stone is present. And he does stare at a giant wall. It showing off frozen warriors who do have wounds. Some of the bloody ice surrounding them is apparent. One holds a sword. Another is a barbarian. Ironic, since those furs, they looked like they should have kept them warm. His axe, though. Interesting weapon. And then there's a mage. Their head is covered by those rags, but he's not sure how else they should look. They were caught in the middle of casting a spell. That's for sure. The way their hands are. Huh. Quite interesting. Who are you supposed to be? Deku turning, staring at a massive dragon that does go to step towards him. It not slowing down and informing him. He has some balls to come here. They are hungry. Now, they're going to make things quite simple. Another dragon stepping around the corner. And Izuku, he does do one simple thing. He does go to bring up the axe and bring up the long sworded polearm, expressing which one should he use against each of them. Does that one want the polearm? Does that one want the hammer? Though, this is going to be interesting. He would rather just crush both their skulls and be done with it now. Both the dragons roaring out in raucous laughter. Ik echoing through the cave as one does a turn to its sibling, informing her. Does she think this human can take them on? No. It's cocky. Just like the weapon going to stick to its head as the creature, it does it a full limp. Deku expressing, stepping forwards. It does look like the choice was made for him. The dragon going to roar out and blast out ice at Deku. Him bring his own hand up as he does a blast out fire directly at the dragon. It, along over Deku, he does go to counteract its own magic. Him melting the ice in the water under his own feet. And the ruckus, it has begun to stir the ancient dragons. Right now, him going to crash into the dragon and bring up the hammer, crunching into its skull as the beast, it does go to sit there for a second. Deku surprised, since it does try to raise its head again, but he does a crunch down on its head again, killing the creature as it does go limp once more. And he does get a turn. 4, 5, 6. Okay, 3 more to go. Though that does then raise the question. Him going to activate empowerment to its max stat. And this hammer, it feels light as a feather. I mean, shit. Throw this at the ancient dragon? Maybe. Just maybe he should. Though he's curious how much damage it will do. Human. Him turning, staring at a dragon as the other one does begin to walk up. The two large creatures nearly towering in the giant cavern they're in. As one does inform him, Deku stepping into the room of its massive treasure hoard, looking around and seeing a frozen mammoth, a large frozen giant, wielding a giant club, gold coins littering the ground, and, well, it's bright in here, but he sees a mirror, looking up and seeing a hole in the roof that does provide light. It must be what's bouncing around the cavern, allowing it to be lit up. Not magical means, but some sort of reflective ability? Huh. Mirrors. In a dragon cave. Now he feels like he's seen everything. Alright. Now, who am I going to be killing first? You killed my children and their spawn. Really? I thought they were all yours. Their mates were staying with our clan. We were growing in power, expanding our territory. You are dead, human. Him turning to the other dragon, its voice telling him it must be a female. The monarch? Yeah, the monarch of this clan. So that must be the patriarch. Deku going to bring up his hands and express. Alright, fine. Him turning his head and looking around, dropping his weapons where he is, and walking over. Well aware that this is going to be a good insult to the dragons. Walking over to a treasure hoard as one of the dragons does a rush forwards, blasting out with ice magic. Deku waving his hand and blasting a fireball to counter their attack, making his way over undisturbed and unbothered, pulling free a sword of the treasure hoard. Turning back, holding it up to the two and informing them. He won't use his own weapons then. How does that sound? He'll take them out, clear and here and now. How about they play a bit of a game then? You dare insult us. I don't, actually. I'm giving you a fighting chance. Against a human. You are nothing but a weak, little... They go blitzing the dragon, slicing into it and cutting its head off. And when the red fountain does get a spray around the room, Deku, he does get to feel it cover him as the warmth it does provide, it does begin to quickly fade. The dragon turning and glaring down at Deku, who does get to hold up the glowing weapon. Him intrigued. Force magic and destruction magic aren't that different. They're similar. And he does feel a rush of power come into him. Him, well aware that killing the ancient dragon provided a massive boost to his own power, turning back to the other ancient one. And he does turn his head, seeing something in the corner of his vision as the ancient dragon just rushed towards Deku. Him going to watch the creature rush towards him and bring out a massive scaled fist, it roaring out in animalistic fury. And the ground does begin to shake as it does a crack and break. It going to bash its fist down directly onto Izuku, roaring out in anger and blasting ice down, trying to cover him, but covering his own fist as well. And he does go to roar out for multiple times, multiple minutes, breaking into the mountain. It shaking the ground in the area around them. And there is the creature, it does go to finally feel its rage beginning to subside. Though it does look down with animalistic fury, hoping to lick the red paste that was once an enemy off the ground and see what type of excrement it can make. Though whenever he does go watch Deku sit up, the sword in hand, he does go to look alarmed. Deku standing up and cracking his neck, and informing the creature. Yeah, he forgot to mention, he's about... what? Far too much above his league? He might be ancient, but he's still weak compared to the red dragons. Him blitzing the dragon and going to strike it. Him going to break its neck and its jaw going flying off. It crashing into the wall as Deku does watch the dragon turn and try to blast out ice towards him. Deku bring his own hand up, turning and blasting out force magic, cutting into the beast's head. Its neck going to rip apart as it does a crash into the wall and begin to slide down. Deku staying there, covered in dragon blood. And right now he has a look around the room, thinking about what exactly he could take. Feeling the dragon power come into his body, holding up this sword. It's like a claymore, but it looks interesting. Huh. It must be from the local area. Or maybe an adventurer's sword? Not a bad one, but certainly not as powerful as you would like. Huh. The edge came off, but using force magic, it's still good. Him holding the bloody weapon as he does a turn, walking into the cave and trying to see what else they might have. His math is telling him that he's taken out 8 dragons, so there's got to be 1 left. And he does turn the corner. Right now going to walk further and further down. And the area does begin to warm up. It does begin to feel more like Atrig's lair. And he does gonna turn the corner and go to watch as a woman does gonna stand there. Him quite surprised. As right now he does gonna glare daggers at her. Her glowing red eyes are full of fury. And she does stand there in front of a room. Deku stepping forwards and holding up the blade, and informing her. He's gonna make her one simple offer. Fuck you. You've killed my family. I will not allow you to harm my children. Deku pausing for a second. And he does glare at her. Children? No, her family's been attacking that town. You're lying to me. Him going to step forwards as she does go to raise her claws, her rushing at him with a burst of speed. And Deku, he does raise a hand, him battering her away as she does a crash to the door and she does a fall. Right now, her huffing out breath as Deku does begin to step forwards, not wanting to be deceived by him freezing his tracks. As two dragons do step forwards, and he does a glare at them, his expression softening. And they're clearly human. Him staring at both of them. The woman turning and going to try and sit up. The blood does get a pour from her mouth. Her screaming names that Deku doesn't hear. Him watching as she does go to throw her hands out forwards and grab the two, trying to shield them with her body and going to bring her wings out to cover the both of them. Right now, her going to whisper words, things that Deku doesn't exactly pick up. He just stares. This, no, this doesn't feel right. This can't be what's happening right now. Children, dragon children, a human form? No, this is different. Why? Why are they in human form? No. An illusion? A trap? They didn't know he was gonna be here. Deku looking around the room. And it does gonna tell him a few simple things. There's books. There's an actual bed made of leathers and hides. There's the eggs over there. Many of them are broken, but those two. Why? Him going to let go of his blade and let it clatter to the floor. And the woman, she's just sit there shaking before Deku just walk over and extend a hand. Her body going to heal as she does a turn. Deku stepping backwards and raising his hands. Okay. Listen, I'm willing to hear your story. What are you doing? If you're going to kill us, just kill us. Why are you in a human form? It is interesting. Why are you not trying to kill me? You're not attacking me. I'm a dragon. And I'm a human. You're trying to defend your spawn? Your siblings and their families thought you were weird. Your mate ran off. Yes, he did. Our kind is different than others. I am different. I'm well aware. I'd have to run. Had my chambers been found by my siblings, they would have killed me. I see. Know this. I'm going to extend one offer of mercy. I've already thought about it with your clan. Deku turning. They attacked that town. I tried to talk to the other two. They didn't want to listen. You're not as aggressive. Eternal, actually. Leave this place, and I'll tell them that I killed all of you. You're extending an offer of mercy now? Yes. I don't like the alternative. I'm not going to murder children. That that is not who I am. Who are you? The hero of Granala. My name is Izuku. I'm a hero. A hero. Yes. Now, are you going to take my offer of mercy? I don't want more bloodshed now. Not after being reminded of some things I've seen. I'm not going to kill them, and I don't want to kill you. Unless I have to kill you. What would you do with them? Her turning, shouting out about him, selling them to the humans as slaves. And he doesn't shake his head. Right now, him going to turn and begin to walk away, telling her he's going to start collecting loot. If she is still here by the time he does come back to this room, in 3 hours, they're going to have a problem. They will be taken to another place, some place where they will be safe. And she does still glare at Deku, alarmed, angry, surprised, and she just doesn't mull over this offer of his. Mercy. Her clan is highly aggressive. Yes, she is different, but this is hard to think about. Her turning and looking at the two. As right now, Deku, he does go through the process of picking up the parts of dragons. Him even looking through the hoard of treasure to see if he can find anything interesting. He does find some weapons, though their enchantments are not that good. He does even find some gear, some that he can possibly sell off. He does even take the largest pile of gold he can find. His system telling him about how it's over 1 million gold pieces, along with the types of diamonds and gems he has obtained. And this, it is interesting to him. Right now, Deku bringing his hand up and collecting the blood from the floor of the dragons he's slain, leaving and collecting the others. As whenever Deku does go to arrive back in town, he does collect the other 2 dragons sitting in the street. Right now, him going to fly back down and land into the king's throne room. When the man does get to see Izuku, he does watch the man cross his arms, informing him all the dragons have been slain. What? But that is incredible. How? So short on time. I heard that you took out those 2 in the city fast, but this is incredible. It is. Now, all of them have been slain. Where is their lair? Their lair is in the mountains. It's not worth the hike. I've looted most of the treasure there. Most of? Yeah. My inventory is full. Deku lying, hoping that white dragon doesn't cause more problems. She seemed different, and hopefully that is the case. Though that image in his mind, from their perspective, it was a man hurting their mother, walking into that room covered in blood with a sword. Yikes. That's not a thought he wants to leave on. Right out him turning to the man and informing him, "Don't go to the dragon's lair. Leave it be." What? Yes. It's not worth what you will find. You might lose more men, and if a dragon does try to nest there once more, it'll be another problem for you to handle. Now, know this. Your quest has been handled and dealt with. I got what I wanted, and I do hope you understand. I am trying to do what I can. But tomorrow I will not be able to aid you further, nor today. Him turning, trying to think about if the attack might be tomorrow. And the man does watch Deku disappear. Right now, him gonna reappear in Granala and go to walk over to a tree, sitting down and just thinking. What he saw there, the dragons were aggressive, ferocious. Advisor, yes. What information can you give me from the collective memory of the dragons? Information? Yes. The ancient dragons have much. Would you like to pull from this? Whatever is relevant to my current question. Yes. What exactly are white dragons like? I've met blue dragons like Bestla, but she's a lightning dragon. She just prefers ice. I see. White dragons are the weakest of dragonkind. The most ferocious of all, however. They do not care about many things. They are animalistic, more closer to what people describe them to be, more in tune with their feral nature. They do not take deals, they do not take kindness, and they remember insults against them. They remember every aggression made towards their kind and their clan. I see. And the one left in the cave? Anomaly. Different from most current information. Dragons gather together in clans, yes, but they do not tend to protect their spawn the way that one did. Quite an interesting case. Quite the interesting case indeed. Him going to lean back against the tree, trying to think about what to do. I mean, yikes. Continue his own training? Or see about what he can buy? No. Look at the skills he got as a blessing. I mean, gain divinity. That is interesting. Very interesting. Though, what is his current level? Maybe 330? Maybe 340. Now that would be something. Deku going to open his inventory, and he does go to get a following notification. He has slain over 8 dragons, 2 in the ancient classification. His current reward is 12 draconic shards. Please note, the maximum level of shards is 15, and his current level, it means quite a bit for his current situation. Unclaimed rewards will be discarded if they are not claimed. Deku's staring at that. That's a new one. Okay, this must be talking about Alino's conversation earlier. Okay, let's pull that up then. I'm gonna do so. And he does go to watch as his level 354 does go to pop up. Him having his eyes bulge out of his head for a second and stare on. As that, it's incredible. 1,700 points to spend? Okay. Maybe he can fight them. Maybe they can win? Yeah, that certainly does sound like something. Though, what should he pick? Him heading back over to his reward for reaching level 300. But then he does gotta think about it for a minute. 354. Looking down at his hands. There was no stat increase for getting over rank 350. Okay, so is the next one at level 400 or are they gone? Huh. Interesting. Deku going to look at the current skills he is being offered. Right now, him staring at a different screen. The information, the names of respective deities. Some he has heard about, some he's heard mention of. I mean, this is incredible. Nuva, Eris, Alino, Aurora, Adum, Adar, Edor. All of them are extending offers. The God of Mercy. That's certainly something. Though he is surprised that Vidon isn't on here. The God of Chaos. Though, this does make him more intrigued. Right now, him going to look over at Nuva's offering. Him feeling like that's strange. And he does hover over the information. Blessing of the Moon. You will become a lower deity of the moon. Under its light, you will gain information. You may know all. You will also be proficient in high levels of plasma and light magic. This ability will also come with divine counsel from the deity above, Nuva. Deku staring at that, the last sentence being very interesting. Under the moon's light, he will gain not only divine clarity mentally, but healing physically. That very interesting. And he does then go to look over at the next offer. Eris's Wrath. Gain the ability of Wrath from a goddess. Power will allow you to ignore pain, push past your physical thresholds. Currently, combined with your current stats, this ability would be quite dangerous. Him reading that part in parentheses? Wait a second. These were written by the gods themselves, wasn't it? Huh. So he's actually having direct contact with a god. Multiple. Him continuing to read. Eris's wrath will give him much power, and it is fueled by bloodshed. The more blood he does spill, the more powerful he will become. Deku is staring at that. It's an interesting offer, but he's not sure about it. He's only met her once. Though, was that an illusion or was that one real? That certainly is an interesting offer. Okay. Deku looking at the next one. The Kiss of Death. Deku feeling odd reading that name. Death Empowerment. Allows your stats to be physically empowered by death. The more you are exposed to and the more you do cause. The more you hunt, the more you will gain. Ability will level easily with current stats. Along with this, you cannot be killed by non-divine means. Deku's staring at that. Okay, so it's deathly empowerment. Him going to read the next page, and he does get a freezer for a second. Huh. So he's basically like a lich. Alino's offering is interesting. Him staring at a single sentence that catches his attention. It talks about a deathly regeneration. It's odd. A regenerative stat and the idea that he can't be killed by non-divine means. But what does that mean? Huh. Deku's sitting there. Before someone, they did a freeze directly in front of him. Him looking up as he does go to stare directly at Lillian. And she does sit there. Rhino going to wear a nice blue dress as her eyes are focused on someone behind him. Deku turning his head and... Alino? Hello? What are you doing here? We just spoke. I believed it was about the power. You're not satisfied with the offering? No, I'm confused by it actually. Lillian falling to her knees. Both of them looking back as she does go to lower her head. Right now, her looking back up and meeting the very gaze of death. Before the woman does bring a hand up and inform her, she may rise. There is no need for that in her presence. Why are you here? Your ability. It simply means one little thing. Only the divine can kill you. Anything truly that is not will not be able to. I see. And the regeneration? Simple. You will be able to regenerate, but it may take down levels of your skill. Really? Well, I believe so, yes. This is like a unique skill for you. If you are in my domain, then you have control over death. You have control over the physical and spiritual, as you have seen. Surely you have noticed that your spirit is more than what it has seemed to be? I have. But I just assumed that I was resonating. You were. You resonate closest to my realm of power. You can be a harvester. Someone truly of the divine. I've given you something I believe Ritus would like you to have. I see. I appreciate that. Her gonna vanish, disappearing in the black smoke. And Lillian does quickly go to scurry over and go to sit next to him, grabbing his arm and telling him to tell her what the heck was that? That was Alino, right? Her presence was so terrifying. No. I felt like my heart was going to stop. That was death. The embodiment of death. She's a kind woman. I shouldn't be surprised by that. Deku looking at Aurora's blessing. This blessing would allow you to turn into a true dragon. Will allow you to regenerate magic and will allow you to have much power. Gain much more spiritually and truly fall into the realm of those he's bound to hunt. Deku staring at that. Becoming a godly dragon. I mean, that would be funny to hunt Davrum, but he's not so sure of that. Maybe quite ironic, too. Maybe stay as a human. That might be the deal breaker there. Though, with the horns on his head, he's fairly certain it's going to be much. Him turning to Lillian, who does go to look away, asking him about his latest accessory? I know. It's gonna take a minute for me to get used to that, but I need a mirror. Him turning back and looking at a Doom's offering. And it does look quite interesting. Gain more of affinity for nature magic, along with the fact that it would allow him to pull primal energies from the ground and use those to harness magic. It's a tempting offer. He does try to take care of the land, but this is different. He's seen what nature's bounty has. And if he can do that, harness primal energies, that can certainly be interesting. Him gonna look at Ador's blessing. Right now, him thinking about what exactly he might take. The God of Mercy. What will this do? Divine ability will allow you to subjugate your enemies if they have any intent to harm you. If they do, their body will fall into a dormant state, comatose, and will allow you to take them out. Deku is seeing this. It's a powerful ability, but it then does come with a caveat. If he feels rage towards an enemy, he will be the one to fall under its effects. And that one does immediately make that one no. Him looking down at Idor's offer. In this one, it is quite interesting. The god of destruction. He's offering him something with magic. I mean, he stepped into this man's realm of power by mistake. Find a way to channel it and use it for his own benefit. And he does it read the following prompt. He has done much with his power. He has treated it carefully, but he has also used it in powerful ways. He thanks him for not abusing this power. Destruction is only opposed to creation, and creation is quite slow in its beautiful process. He would like to grant him one simple thing. A boon to his mana pool. Massive. It would allow him to properly harness this magic if he does decide to go with the maximum level of power he can achieve. And that thought does make Deku interested. Though he does look back over all of them. Going over it. What he can gain. What he can deal with here. I mean, the counsel of a goddess? That could be beneficial. I mean, an actual healing factor. Unable to be killed by non-divine means. That's interesting. The mana pool, all of that. Though, okay, wait a second. He's got to make the best choice here for him. If he does take on... No, he could just... No. Deku taking a breath. Right now, him staring at the screen and trying to just think what he can do. I mean, this offer is incredible. He can use his points to try and mess with his mana pool a bit. Maybe check raw mana proficiency. If he does master it, then there must be something going on with raw magic. Maybe that could be a secret? His mana pool can always increase the more he does deplete it. That is an option. So some of these do have their own caveats. How much harder it would be to get rid of power and then try and replenish or gain more. Shit. Okay, some of these are still beneficial, but some of these are not. Deathly empowerment. He gains his strength in death. That certainly means something, doesn't it? He'll be around a battlefield a lot. Maybe go to the front lines. Check that place out. Learn more about what happens up there. No. Perhaps try and find the source. Go directly to the Demon Lord and go there. Hell. Go to hell. See what goes on in that realm. There's gotta be a lot of suffering and death there. That ability, it might work. And he doesn't hold his hand up. Him reaching out and going to select Alino's blessing. As right now, the screen is at a vanish, and he does get to feel a strange sensation running down his hand. As right now, he does watch a strange glow begin to manifest itself around his palm, and then it does get to vanish. Him going to feel a little weird, but a good weird. And there is where Lillian does get to ask him if things are alright with him. What exactly was happening? I'm not sure. I'll let you know when I have more information about that, but right now I'm feeling good. Feeling okay. Just, I've got a lot on my mind. I could tell if a goddess was visiting you. She seemed nice. She was pretty. She is nice. And she does look pretty, but she's death. Her going to poke him in the face, talking about how that didn't stop him from laying his hands on his own queen. Him turning to her and expressing he was simply trying to defend her from a dragon. To which she does start laughing a bit. As Deku, he does a turn towards her. Still feeling a bit off. Though he does go to look at his system again and check his inventory. Even seeing the stats for his mana pool pop up. That's odd. 75% is mana. 23% is essence, and 1% of it is currently converting. No, wait. 2% of his magic. It's converting. Okay, that's weird. Divine mana. Deku's staring at that word. It's taking time to fill up, but it's making up 2% of his magic? Okay, so 2% divine mana, 23% essence, and 75% regular mana? Okay. He'll have to figure that out a bit more. For right now, though, he's got to get everything prepared. Someone going to walk up as there is Lillian, who does go to stand and go to greet Sir Atrigue. Her bowing her head to the man as Deku does go to stand, trying to inform him that he's fairly certain Granola will be attacked tomorrow. And that might be where they do to see the paladin. I understand. Him shooting a glance at Lillian, informing her it may not be safe for her. She will need to stay inside. The guards will keep her safe. And if they do need to, someone will defend her. I understand, but a massive shift in magic being felt as Deku does get to turn his head. And the magic he felt. Oh, Chaco. Maybe if he can. Deku going to vanish. Right on him trying to find the strongest trace he can of her power. And Truso does go to look where Deku currently was. And there is in a higher realm. Reno Deku does find the trace of Ochako's mana, her essence. It's powerful and strong. And he does go to quickly try and track down what he can of it. As he does find where it does little pull taut, and he does a drop back into the material plane. Him diving down to the ground and catching her, where he's crash his feet down onto the ground, standing up and looking around. Okay. That worked out better than he thought. He was able to track her. Ochako? Oh, where am I? Oh, what's going on? Izuku? Yeah. Hi. You shaved. Why'd you do that? Long story. Right. That sounds nice. Her going to drift back to unconsciousness as he does go to stand. Looking all around his people, do go to stare at the man. Him turning and expressing about how he liked the name of this village. And perhaps the name of someone here? Someone stepping up and informing him about where they currently are, and asking if that young woman is alright. Though he does try to tell them about what just happened, as unbelievable as it might be. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does get to head back to Granola. Right now, quite happy that this just happened. Before their ears were Bakugo, he does get to show back up. Quite happy to see that Deku, he found Ochako. They were kind of worried that they'd have to wait a few days before they can catch up with her again. Especially since that dungeon? No, the event. It will be happening soon. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.